We are now joined by fourth-year Glenville State head coach Mike Kellar. Mike, can you give us an opening statement on Glenville's 2022 season?
Yeah, Lex told me that I needed to keep this to 5 minutes. So as Griff will probably tell you, I've never spoke for 5 minutes in my life. So I'm going to try to keep it within that 5-minute mark. I really like this team. I like their work ethic. The majority of this group has been around for a couple years. A lot of them are really COVID sophomores, so they're juniors in the classroom and their sophomore eligibility on the field. They were fortunate enough to play a 4-game spring season 2 years ago during the COVID year. They played a full season this past year, most of them starting as freshmen. And now I feel like I got a young veteran team, which, in 30 years of coaching, 29 now, and 10 years as a head coach. It's the first time I've been able to say that we were veteran and young at the same time. And that's a unique situation because of the COVID. You got me? Is this thing locked up? We still good?
Yeah, you're good. Yeah, got it.
Okay. I don't know if it's moving there. But no, so I like the team. I like the makeup of the team. Any talk about our team really starts with our defense. And if you're going to start at defense, you got to start in the secondary where, we got 3 kids who've been starting for a couple years now, led by Brandon Penn at free safety, Sean Sterling's the strong safety, and Dane Lynch is our nickel. We're a 4-2-5 base defense, and those kids allow us to give a lot of different looks. They're all 3 good against the run, good at the pass. And I feel good. I feel really good about our secondary. We got some corners that I feel good about, but they're younger guys who haven't played as much. Mark Shepard did start, half the games last year as a true freshman. So now he's going to his sophomore year. So I feel pretty good about that secondary. Our linebackers, when you look at Sean Bowers and Seth Arnold, Seth, I believe, was top 3 or 4 or 5 in the league in tackling a year ago. Both those guys are returning. And then we're led up front with the D tackle position with Max Boyd, Isaiah Macklin, and Josh Carr have had really good camps. We got a lot of other talent there. Defensive ends, unproven talent, guys who can run. For the first time since I've been here, at least we look like a college football team to me. We look like we got some guys that they passed the eyeball test, so to speak, and they can run the football. Our kick game, we got Avery Book was the all-league punter a year ago. Been pretty consistent all through camp. I like where he's at. Josh Jones, I believe, was honorable mention kicker a year ago, and both those kids have had really good camps. So I feel good about the kick game and the type of people we'll be able to surround them with. Will Atkins, was our long snapper a year ago, and he's returning there. So that battery of having the snapper, holder, kicker, snapper, punter, that's huge. It probably doesn't matter to a lot of fans out there, but to a coach, that's something that allows you to sleep a little bit better at night. Offensively, we're deeper than we've been. We got a lot of new faces, probably too many to name. Like I just did the defense. We moved Ian Pomeroy, who's a Beckley kid, Woodrow Wilson, from guard to center. I think he'll solidify us up front and by moving to the center position and taking more of a leadership role. Roy Coppage is returning at left tackle. The other kids are all new, but I think they're all kids who've been in the program and are improved from where they were a year ago. Alfred Mingers, our returning tailback, he was over 900 yards a year ago. Hopefully a guy who could get, over that 1,000-yard threshold this year. And so we're excited about those guys that are returning. I realize we're picked 9th in the league, that probably sounds about right. The years I was at Cal, we were always picked 1st, 2nd, or 3rd. And I would always tell the team the preseason league meetings, the standings from preseason don't mean anything. It's where you're at the end of the season that matters. And that's the same thing that I'll tell the team today is it really, it just reflects where you've been. It has no reflection of the direction that you're headed. And if I'm really being honest and look at the league, there's a lot of teams that are in the same boat as we are. This thing can break a lot of different ways. So we're excited about the 2022 season. I think we're going to have a much improved football team. Everyone running to a Glenville wants me to put a number on it. Any coach who's got some sense about himself won't do that. But I know we're better, and I know we'll be fun to watch, and I know our kids are working hard, and that all that makes me happy. We got practice today at 3, and we need it because if we played tonight, we wouldn't be a very good football team yet. So we're just going to keep chipping away at this thing and giving you a bunch of coach speak here, but to keep chipping away at this thing and see where it ends at the end of the year.
Okay. Anyone with questions, please use the raise hand function. Jonathan, go ahead.
Yeah, Coach Kellar. Talk a little bit about, you hit on the offensive side, but can you preview a little bit of the quarterback competition at Glenville State this fall?
Yeah, shocked that that's the first question I get. Timmy Hetzel was our returning starter from a year ago, and Tim graduates this fall. He's had some shoulder issues, and he's now student coaching with us. And he's done a great job, actually, coincidentally, in that role. He's accepted that, and I love where he's at, and he's been great through the program and for the program. We brought in a freshman quarterback out of Detroit, Anthony Garrett, who's really a talented kid. He's big and strong and can make all the throws, but he's anytime you're talking about a freshman quarterback, you're talking about a guy who's got to get acclimated to what you do and how you go about doing it, especially at that position. Will Atkins is returning. He's been here for 3 years now and knows the offense really well, makes me sleep easy. But the quarterback competition really has been between two transfers. Brendan Morris, who we brought in at mid-year, a kid who I think started a few games for Wheeling a year ago, and Jeff Miller, a Towson transfer, who is a big, strong kid who can make some throws. If we had to play today, our depth chart would go Jeff 1, Brennan 2, and then we really it's about as deep as we get with it at this current time. But both have had their moments in fall practice where I thought, man, we got the guy. And then both have had the moment where I'm like, man, we got a lot to work on. And what I'm trying to explain to them is great players do the ordinary things extraordinarily well. And, little things like making sure all these changes are right, make sure we're getting in the right play. A lot of our system is based on what they could do pre-snap, so I got some bright kids. I got some guys that work at it good. They're good in the classroom, and physically they can make all the throws and do all the things you need them to do. So I think since I've been here, it's the healthiest that room's been. It's the most competition's been in that room, and hopefully it shows up in the games.
On the other side of offense, talk about your experience running game coming back.
Yeah, well, Alfred we played the first 2 games last year without Alfred. Alfred's a kid from Florida High in Tallahassee, was a starter all of fall camp a year ago. And on the Wednesday goal line before the opening game, hurts his knee. So we play Concord without Alfred. He takes some reps heading into week 2 against Pembroke. And we go down there and it's pouring the rain down, and we had to put him in, and he kind of limped his way through that game. And then really in the final, 8 or 9 games, he rushes for, Jonathan can tell you more than I can. He knows the numbers better than I do, for I think 940 or 50 yards or something. He had a really good year for us. Him and Zaki Swan will really be our 1-2 punch. Zaki's a kid who is a transfer who we just got in, and we're pretty excited about. But we're going to rely heavily on the run game. That's kind of who we are. Everywhere I've been, because I'm a former quarterback and I played here with under Coach Rodriguez, and we threw the ball so much, I've kind of got labeled a pass guy. And if you look at the success of our best offenses, we're always one of the better running teams in the league. Now, whether it was because we were so good at throwing the ball that they allowed us to run it, or whether we were still good at running the ball that we got single coverage on the outside, that's when we're built at our best. So we're going to rely on that front. We're going to rely on those tight ends. We're going to run the football, and then we're going to hopefully make explosive plays down the field off the play actions and nakeds that come with that.
Okay. On the other side of the ball, on defense, 8 returning starters. Preview that side of the ball a little bit.
Well, Seth Arnold's a kid who we moved from the spring season. He was a tailback for us. We moved over to linebacker a year ago, and I believe he finished 3rd in the league in tackles. He brings us, a toughness over there, a smarts, and he always plays on the edge a little bit, but he's a very good football player. Sean Bowers is a kid who was a strong safety when I first arrived here, who we moved into linebacker. So for the first time heading into camp since my first year, we actually know who our 2 starting inside linebackers are. At D-tackle, I already mentioned Max Boyd's a kid who transferred with me when I came from Lenore Ryan up to here. And he's got a chance to be a really good football player. Max has had one of those weird college careers where he's just never been able to stay healthy and keep it all together. When he's at his best, he's very good. Just knock on wood and hope he stays there. Josh Carr is a kid that we signed out of Baltimore who's 6'6", 260, and gives us that push in the middle. And he's had a very good fall camp. And the kid who's playing the best of all of them up front is Isaiah Macklin. Isaiah is a guy from Virginia Beach who played defensive end a year ago, played that strong side defensive end in our defense, and now we moved him into the 3 technique, playing over the guards, and he's been excellent. On the perimeter, we got Cole Hugert from Sissonville as an outside linebacker, DN. Marcus Hagler, Tallahassee kid, who's the opposite one. And we signed 2 Myrtle Beach prep kids, and Josh Brown at one of the places, Jacob Clark at the other defensive end. And those 2 kids have really been the best, on the outside rushing so far, but they're prep freshmen, so to speak. And like I said, our secondary, Noah McBride will start at one corner, transfer from Savannah State, and Mark Shepard right now starting at the other corner. And they're in good battles. I mean, Terry Noel, kid from Miami, is pushing them, and he'll give us that third corner, which at this level, that's what you need. Sean Scott's been a very good freshman safety for us that we signed right now. He's backing up Sean Sterling, who Sean, Brandon, and Dane Lynch, those 3 are as good as I've had in a long time. And I was at Cal when we had Rontez and Eric, who both went to the NFL. I don't know if those guys are quite those kind of players just yet, but they're sophomores right now. So we'll see how their careers end up.
Any other questions? Okay. Go ahead, Lex.
Coach, definitely think from last season, a strong suit of your team was the offensive line. Last season they allowed 1.1 sacks per game, which was 25th in the nation. I know you've talked about Ian Pomeroy kind of moving to that center position.
Yeah.
With having a leader, kind of at your center position, how do you think your lines will be able to repeat, their success from last season?
Offensive football, really football in general, is not that different than baseball. You got to be strong up the middle. And when you've got your center position settled, your quarterback position settled, and your tailback position settled, then you can really work inside out. And for the first time since I've been here, I mean, really the last 4 games of my first year in 2019, we kept those same 3 starters for those games. Since I've been there, it's been a rotating door from center to quarterback and then tailback. I mean, none of the guys who started a year ago at that position in the first week were the starters in week 3, a year ago. And it's kind of been the way it's been here. And our offense and by way of how bad we've been on offense, our team's kind of been up and down because of it, mostly down. Now, with Ian being there and being, our true team leader at center, and gives us that stabilizing force in the middle. I feel really good about that. With Jeff and Brennan, guys who played in college, who are good quarterbacks, and the way Jeff played the last couple of days, I feel really, really good there. And then, of course, with Alfred being a guy. So, being strong up the middle is going to be critical for us, and moving Ian over there really helped us. And I mean, we had Josiah Wade, who was a tackle a year ago and didn't play because of injury. We were able to move him into guard. He's a 6'6", 315-pound kid. And we moved Justin Collier over from defense to play the other guard position. And we got Kelvin Watts a transfer in at the 1 tackle. And Ian Kelly started every game for us last year. He's coming off shoulder surgery. So we got him. I feel good about it. I'm like probably every coach who spoke today. I don't feel great about our depth. I wish some of these young kids developed a little bit faster. If we could stay healthy, I feel really good about this team, but it's a long season, and we got to see how that goes, especially up front. Them guys don't really, even if we're in thud drills, I mean, everything's basically live up front. So every day is, it's very physical when you're on the offensive and defensive lines.
Any other questions? All right, Coach, we appreciate you joining us. Good luck this season.
Thank you. I appreciate it.